January 19th, 2025. As you're looking at satellite images over the continental U.S., it has not gotten light enough over on the west coast for the satellite to automatically change from visible on the right to infrared on the left. It will be soon. It just hasn't yet. It is 8:31 a.m. Central Time. You guys in the disaster areas, every one of you are in our hearts and in our prayers. And we wish there was more that we could do. A lot of people sent stuff into the Carolinas, for example. And in Florida, FEMA was going to houses that did not have a Trump sign. Well, one more day, that's going to change, guys. And I said a month ago, and I wish I could do more, but just wait until Trump gets in. A lot of the other administration is already vacating. Trump's in Washington, flew in last night. But guys, just hang on. We got one more day. I think we're going to automatically see FEMA start pushing in to these disaster areas, West Coast, East Coast, and get something done. Try to stay warm. It's going to be rough. It's already been rough. We've been having very cold weather. It's about 40 here right now, but we got two systems coming in. You're going to have moisture coming in out of the Gulf starting to build up. Check this out right here. And then one in Colorado. Can't hardly see it. You're starting to see some of the higher clouds right there. See that? That's going to swoop down to the south, being pushed by cold air, and it's going to merge with this system to give us rain, sleet, ice, and snow. Now, we were lucky in one sense. This system right here, again, this was a storm that came in not last night, but not before last, guys. We had terrible lightning and thunder in the middle of the night. I'm talking about rough. No tornado warnings went out. But if this had been delayed until tonight, the moisture situation would be a lot worse, but it's still going to be bad enough. But again, this system's getting out of here. You're starting to see a little bit of buildup here in Colorado. And this is going to be a big factor in the next 3 days. Now, this is the National Weather Service. This is today, on the 19th. You got snow, Colorado, Wyoming, up through here, into Idaho. Look right here. Here's your snow line for the East Coast all the way through the Great Lakes. And then you've got a mix. You can see your color codes here and your graph codes. Anyway, you got a mix of snow starting right here, coming into West Virginia, D.C., PA. It's a really good thing they're getting that inside, but for more than one reason. And then rain right here. This is that rain that's pulling off that, again, we got 2 nights ago, and some's pulling up out of the Gulf. Now let's go to tomorrow, right there. Now here's what you're seeing, the buildup of moisture here in Texas. This is a mixture. You can look mixed precipitation, a little rain out in the Gulf where it's green, and then snow, and then heavy snow possible, freezing rain possible. Just about every winter condition you could get except blizzards are there. And you've got critical fire weather possible here in California. They're trying to push this as far as they can push it. I think it's been 6 days now, no smoke. The grifting continues from Newsom and Mayor Bass there. Their days are coming, guys. The light has been turned on, and the roaches are scurrying as far as they can get away from everything because they know it's about to go down. The Trump situation, guys, is better than it would have been today if Trump would have been inaugurated, or if they had not messed up the election. You know what happened. Then he would be going out right now. Possibly we would still be having a conservative replacement. But what happened? Trump was here 4 years. He was going to try to do business, get the country built back up, and not really do what the Biden administration's done for 4 years, attack their so-called political enemies. There was no nation building for 4 years. It was nation destruction and attacking conservatives. Well, Trump learned his lesson after what happened 4 years ago and then what he's seen this time. He's going to come back with a vengeance. He may not be quite as nice as he was before, and they've asked him, and you saw during the some of the confirmation hearings, or you can promise us that you won't listen to Trump if he wants to lock us up, things like that. That was all they were concerned about, right? All that, just forget about the past. They were saying Blumenthal when he was asked about the 300,000 missing kids, right? He was in the confirmation hearing with no Noam. Anyway, she said something, and he said, well, she said, we're going to continue to look for these kids and try to bring them back and stop this from happening. He said, no, that's in the past. Forget about that. Now we got to move forward. Did you guys catch that? That is as evil as you can get. More than likely, he is involved in it some way. I don't know if Diddy ties in through all of this or not, but these politicians are as creepy as Diddy, if not more. Anyway, Trump is going to come back again, I think, with a vengeance. He's got the right people in place, and I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of disappointed people this time if that swamp didn't get drained a little bit better than it did last time. Now, this is tomorrow, Monday. Let's go to day 3 forecast, Tuesday, January 21st. Look at this. It's all come down and blended. We have a mixed precipitation from the Texas-Mexico border all the way, I'm talking about the blue, to offshore here in North Carolina, right in that area. Check that out, in Virginia and D.C., right up through there. And then here in this red-gray is a freezing rain possible, okay? So this is going pretty far down in Florida, further than it was the other day, guys. Check this out. Then here you've got the, again, heavy snow possible. This is our area in Mississippi, Alabama, heavy snow, possibly for 14 hours and maybe combined with 4 hours of ice. And so you have the freezing rain, mixed precipitation, snow, rain, thunderstorms along South Florida. Central Florida is going to be rain. It doesn't really show the thunderstorms like here, but it's warmer down south, of course. Now, the current conditions here in central Mississippi, 34, real feel 26, real feel and shade 24, wind gust at 26 miles per hour, the wind steady from the north at 11 miles per hour, and you can see it up in the upper trees since daylight this morning, just that winter back and forth swaying with the gray skies and that brisk, cool air. Now, notice for Tuesday morning, coming out of tomorrow night, this has changed. The ice was going to be 4 hours of ice here. Now 7 hours of ice, 14 hours of snow. And that's where that band of heavy precipitation that we saw is moving right through our area. And we very seldom see this type of snow or ice. A few years ago, the Texas ice storm came in here. 2 or 3 days, no power, ice everywhere. You were pretty much stranded, okay? And water freezing, of course, things like that. So all of that's coming. So you got to really buckle down. Yesterday, we were, I can't do things like I used to could and things that I want to do. Got this small little farm here and a bunch of huskies and fences and everything else. But I'd found a short in the solar panel wire just in time and got that fixed. Now we're going back into full charge mode on this because we're going to lose power, guys. There's no way with the temperatures and that much ice on the tree limbs and the light lines themselves that it's going to stay on. You need Mr. Buddy heaters. You need wood burners. I got an extra cord of wood the other day. I mentioned that. You need dried wood if you can get it. Now, where I found mine was locally on Facebook. You go in there and look at the Facebook Marketplace or something like that. You can find that in your area, okay? Usually you're going to be looking around 200 plus a cord, but right now you're talking about life-threatening situations. And actually the life-threatening cold is going to go across this nation. Some of the maps are rough looking as far as how wide and how much of an area is affected. You would almost think we were going to go back into a mini ice age or something where this is setting up. But we know the planet itself is in a global heating period, natural. It happens in a 36,000 year cycle. We know that happens, and we know we're in a heating phase, but the younger dryas, something happened. I mentioned this before. I think a lot of volcanic activity reflected a lot of sunlight there, and as we were rising up, there was a year or two drop, straight down almost, back into cold air. We went through that younger dryas, that section of the ice. Now we're pulling back up. The current temperatures are as warm as they've been, and that we know of, in at least 13,000 years. You know, we've had heating and cooling periods, but right now the warm section of the graph. It's not man-made. The warm section of the graph is higher than it has been. I guess they're averaging it for 13,000 years. But we got to deal with the cold, and we got to deal with these changes. Again, central Mississippi forecast. You can check your area. But the 41 today for the high, 19 the low, that is not the chill factor. 39 tomorrow, 24, again, not the chill factor, but 0% chance of precipitation today and tomorrow here, according to this. 96% Tuesday. That's when it's really going to start. We're talking about 32 for the high. You see snow around the clouds, frigid, some evening snow, snow and sleet, 1 to 2 inches, much colder. Let's click on Tuesday just a moment. It's going to be at 15 degrees for the low, snow possibly some moonlight, real feel 11. We're going to see that 11 down to 10, 8 for the next 2 or 3 days. And so it's all I can say, guys, is you don't have much time to prepare. Some of you are already in that bad situation. Hopefully you are prepared. But again, Mr. Buddy heaters, propane heaters, whatever you can get your hands on right now, that if you're in an area that is susceptible to power outages. Now, for the amount of money we pay, most of these lines should have been underground a long time ago, but the stockholders have to rake that off the top. And if we had that underground, like some people do, then we would have a lot less problems. I know it would be more expensive initially, but by the time you pay these crews and damages to clean up these storms and all the equipment required and gas and trucks, all of that, you would have been better off to bury these in the first place. But anyway, guys, and here's our current temperatures in the U.S. This is not wind chill. This is just the regular Fahrenheit degrees. Here, central Mississippi, 36 are saying now, but look at this. You are very cold in all of this purple area. You're talking about minus 17, minus 18, minus 22 is going to be pushing down through this area. Now, notice how warm it is in southern Florida. Now, they mentioned thunderstorms possibly, I think, starting Tuesday and Wednesday. But guys, that temperature there and this cold air could make those thunderstorms slightly tornadic. So be prepared for that as this moves in there. It's very warm, still warmer water down along the Keys and all of that. So there's going to be a clash in that area. But the cold is going to be intense. You need to try to stay in as much as you can. You don't get out in it. Don't get out in it. If you have to tell your boss no, unless that's what you do for a living, snowplow or something, then don't do it. Tell them you're taking off. You're not going to risk life and limb, your car getting slid off the road in ice, and then you stranded and you freeze to death. Just not worth it. You got a family. You can take a day off tomorrow or Tuesday. Anyway, guys, what's going to happen, probably starting Monday night, is there's going to be 2 or 3 days of ice on bridges, ice on the ground, freezing pipes, and power outages. You got to be ready. We know it's coming. There's no excuse. I know it's going to be problems. I'm not as ready as I would like to be. That's simply because I can't do the things that I used to could do. I've got a couple other things I got to take care of just in this preparation. Now, charge up all your flashlights, your cell phones, laptops, tablets, whatever you got that you can charge them up now. Now, again, I don't have my whole solar system up. I've got enough to do basics with right now. So weather clears up, I can finish that. But I have enough to broadcast, and I have Starlink satellite connections. So that it really puts you kind of like a sat phone compared to local phones that can go down. So we're going to be broadcasting as much as we can and getting out as much information as possible. So again, even if you're on your phone, your power's out, everything, you can get some updates. We're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe, guys.